Hi my friends, how are you? I hope everybody is fine. My name is Daniel Villarino. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Do you remember this bowl? It's a Bradford Pear that I preturned back in December 2014. Actually, I thought it was closer to this date, but it has been there inside the bag for a year and a half. And if you look at these images, you can see that the level of humidity that it had at that time, it was around 20%. And today, when I took it out of the bag, I made some measures of humidity, and as you can see, it's just a little bit more than 6%. So it has dried considerably. Now, in the process of drying, it has generated a crack, a check. And if you look at this piece, you can see this characteristic sort of heart-shaped pattern here, which is when two branches come out of that place. Normally when that happens in the place where the two branches are together, there are tensions that generate this type of cracks. It is really a pity, but I don't want to throw this away. I love the color of the wood. This is Bradford Pear, and also one of the things that happen is that the bark has remained attached pretty well. So I would like to turn this to its final shape. What I did is that I fill the crack with coffee grinds mixed with epoxy. Basically, this is the coffee. You can see it there. When you do coffee, after you finish what is in the filter, you just put it to dry at the sun or in the oven, and you get this powder, and then you can mix it with epoxy to fill this type of cracks. Now the cracks is from side to side, but it's not that wide, so sometimes it's difficult to make the epoxy to penetrate all the way in. So it's possible that when I begin to do the final turning, there may appear some voids, but this is a 5-minute epoxy, so it's just a few minutes to mix a little more and fill those voids along the way. It's difficult to measure the dimensions on the bark because it's irregular. So what I did is I measured it on the tenon, and as you can see in these pictures, there has been some deformation. One of the diameters is 6 millimeters longer than the other one. So what I have to do now is to try to jump chuck it on this side so that I can redo the tenon and then mount it in the chuck and give it the final shape. So that's the process for today. I hope you enjoyed. Let's get to work. I have a glue block that already has a tenon for my chuck, so I will shape it to accommodate and have a good seat in the interior of the bowl. I have this pad piece that I will put between the glue block and the internal base of the bowl. I place the conic live center in the point I had marked from the time I did the rough turning. Now I can throw up all the surfaces and prepare them to hold from the chuck. Please observe the color difference between the just cut parts and the ones that had already been exposed to the air and the light. With a skew chisel, I shaped the dovetail of the ten. Since the hold on the ball seems to be pretty secure, I will turn the stereo. Typically, when you turn the external part of a ball, you go from the base towards the rim. That way, the wood fibers that run perpendicular to the axis are always supported by other fibers, and you do not get a torn grain. However, turning a natural edge ball, going in that direction all the way, may imply that you will chip away pieces of the bark. So I will cut in the regular direction until I can, and then I will turn the rest beginning in the border and moving towards the base. Since I am turning air in parts, I try to turn at the highest speed that will not produce vibration. Of course, in situations like this, a very well sharpened gouge is a great advantage. Once I achieve the desired shape, I do some shear scraping with the long edge of the Irish grind. The gouge's flute is almost completely facing the wood. Look how thin the shavings are with this cut. It is great to remove tool marks and facilitate sanding. Before going any further, I will mix some epoxy with coffee grinds to fill up some voids that appear in the crack. To sand, I will rotate the lathe really slow, between 70 and 90 RPMs, and I will use a drill with a sanding pad. I sand through the grits up to 600. With a exterior finish, I put the large jaws on the chuck to hold the ball by the tenon. Oh, I almost did the tenon too small. The size is actually ideal. You can pass between the jaws a knife blade, but not a coffee stirrer. That was really lucky. To turn the interior, I will do it by sectors, and once I finish a sector closer to the rim and pass to a sector a bit closer to the bottom, I will now go back to the first. As always, it is convenient to keep the bevel rubbing the wall, as it is shown by the arrows. Turning close to the natural edge, one is turning a lot of air. It is important to have a very sharp gouge for this. To start the cut, we look to rub the bevel a bit inside the ball. From that point we go backwards, then we tilt the angle so slightly to start cutting, and then we move forward. To work in the base, I will use a bottom feeder gouge. The bevel angle is 75 degrees, and it has a secondary bevel to facilitate working in sharp curves. I did not want to bore you with the sanding, most of which I had to do manually, because of the danger caused by the natural edge. I apply a bit of alcohol to raise the grain, and then a very fine sandpaper to finish. With interior finish, I will mount the bowl as in the beginning to eliminate the dent. I leave a small knob that I will carefully cut with a chisel and a bit more sanding to finish the base. To finish, I will put several coats of Danish oil. I do not want a finish too shiny in this particular case when I have a natural border. Hi my friends, I finished making the ball. You can see it here with the natural edge. I love the shape of the bark and everything. This particular wood, the pear, Bradford pear, has the characteristic that when you just cut it, it's much clearer in color, it's lighter color, and then with time it gets darker and darker. Here you can see the pattern because of they call it, I guess, sometimes the flame pattern, due to the two branches coming out. Also you can see it at the base over there. And it has some sort of curly effect around here. I don't know if the camera can get it, but anyway, over there as well. And you can see the crack that I have filled with coffee also right there. So I finished it with Danish oil. I gave it one coat. I waited for 30 minutes and then I gave it another coat, and then I waited for several hours and I gave it a third coat. And I don't know, maybe I will give it a fourth coat in a while, in a few days. But I like the sort of satin finish. I don't want it to be too bright and shiny like other pieces, because with the natural edge I think this type of finish goes a little better, but that's a matter of opinion. Besides, it's very difficult to apply friction polish because of the natural edge. So I hope you like the ball, and now, if you allow me, I am going to show some of the pictures that have been sent by the friends of the channel. Agustin from San Antonio de Padua, province of Buenos Aires in Argentina, sent me these images of these toothpick holders made in Guayubira. Excellent job, Agustin. And Daniel from Ann Arbor in Michigan, US, made this beautiful fruit bowl in ash burl and a series of bowls and wheat pots in various woods. Very nice, Daniel. And here go some pictures of the finished bowl. Okay, I hope you enjoyed these pictures. I really like them. I like the works that the subscribers have been doing. I also put there some pictures of the bowl just finished, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If that's the case, please mark the like button down below, make comments, and if you haven't subscribed yet to my channel, please do so. And it will be until the next one. Cheers!